Welcome to Self-Crafted Life, the space where you stop doubting, start trusting, and finally live as the real you. Signs your quantum leap is near. Have you ever felt like life has slowed down? Not in a lazy way, but in a strange, almost unexplainable stillness? The people you once felt connected to suddenly seem distant. The ambitions you used to chase with fire in your chest now feel like they've lost their flavor. Even your daily routine once comforting now feels like it doesn't quite fit anymore. Most of us are taught to believe that growth is about constant action, doing more, moving faster, achieving bigger goals. So, when we hit this kind of quiet phase, the mind panics. It whispers, something's wrong, you're losing your spark. But what if this stillness isn't a setback at all? What if it's the very sign that something extraordinary is about to happen? In the realm of quantum physics, before a particle makes a leap into a new state, it enters a period of uncertainty, a superposition, where multiple outcomes exist at once. Spiritually, many traditions call this the void, a fertile space where the old dissolves and the new is quietly being formed. If you're feeling disconnected from your old life, yet haven't stepped fully into the new one, you might be standing on the threshold of a quantum leap. This isn't random, it's the preparation phase, the rewiring of your mind, body, and energy, so you can align with a higher version of yourself. In the next 10 parts, we're going to explore the subtle psychological and energetic signs that your quantum leap is closer than you think, how to move through this phase without sabotaging the jump. 1. The quiet before the shift. One of the first signs that a quantum leap is approaching is an odd, almost eerie calm. It's not complete peace, and it's not total chaos, something in between. Conversations might feel hollow, as if the words being spoken aren't carrying the same depth they once did. Activities you used to find exciting suddenly feel irrelevant. Even your own thoughts begin to shift, as though your mind is slowly releasing its grip on the things that used to define you. This stage often confuses people, because we're conditioned to think that transformation is loud, full of action, hustle, and visible change. But real transformation, the kind that completely redefines your reality, often begins in stillness. In quantum mechanics, before a particle makes its leap, it enters a state of uncertainty, where all possibilities are open. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. But internally, everything is reorganizing, on an energetic level. This quiet is a sign that your old vibrational blueprint is dissolving. The beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns that kept you in your current reality are loosening their hold. Your higher self has decided it's time to move. And so the familiar starts to fade, not as punishment, but as preparation. The most important thing you can do in this phase is trust it. Resist the urge to fill the silence with distractions, or force the old life to feel alive again. That would be like trying to breathe life into a chapter that's already ended. Instead, breathe into the space, allow the stillness, and recognize it as the starting line for your leap. If you can hold your nerve in this quiet, you'll step into the next phase with clarity instead of fear. 2. The old comforts start to feel uncomfortable when you're close to a quantum leap. The things that once felt safe and familiar may begin to feel strangely heavy. A friendship you've had for years starts to feel out of sync. The job you once loved now feels constricting. Even your favorite hobbies don't light you up the way they used to. This isn't because you're broken or ungrateful. It's because your inner frequency is changing faster than your outer reality. You've started to vibrate at a different level, and the environments that matched your old self can't sustain your new energy. In quantum terms, this is a frequency mismatch, tension between where you are and where you're headed. Think of it like trying to run modern software on outdated hardware. The glitches aren't failures. They're signs that you've outgrown your current operating system, and the discomfort you feel is simply the signal that it's time to upgrade. Most people misinterpret this stage. They think, if I just try harder, maybe I can make this work again. But you can't and evolve. Once your consciousness expands, it doesn't shrink back to fit the old box. Your job here isn't to force the old to fit, it's to bless it. Thank it, and let it dissolve naturally. This clears the energetic space for your next chapter to arrive. When you stop clinging to what's fading, you'll notice that new opportunities, people, and ideas begin to trickle in, and slowly, that trickle becomes a stream. That's how the leap prepares its landing. 3. The loss of old motivation. Another clear sign you're on the brink of a leap is that your old ambitions suddenly lose their grip on you. Goals you chased for years, promotions, possessions, recognition might now feel strangely irrelevant. This can be disorienting. You might wonder, if I don't want these things anymore, what do I want? But this loss of motivation is not apathy, it's recalibration. Your system is dropping goals that belong to your old identity so it can make space for desires that align with your future self. In neuroscience, this mirrors the brain's process of pruning, removing old neural connections to make way for stronger, more relevant ones. Energetically, you're doing the same thing, clearing outdated intentions, so your new frequency can take root. The danger here is thinking you need to fix your lack of motivation by forcing productivity. But forcing action from an expired version of yourself will only drain you. Instead, give yourself permission to pause. Let the silence sharpen your clarity. This is the moment to ask deeper questions. What would excite me if no one was watching? What kind of life would feel like truth, not performance? When the answers start to surface, they won't come with a burst of adrenaline. They'll come with a quiet certainty. That's how you'll know they belong to the you who's about to leap. 4. Emotional intensity rises as you approach a quantum leap. Emotions often surge with surprising intensity. One day you might feel electric, full of hope and excitement, certain that something extraordinary is about to happen. The very next day, doubt slips in like a shadow, whispering that maybe you're imagining it all. This swing between highs and lows can be unsettling, especially if you've been working hard to stay positive. But here's the truth. This isn't emotional instability, and it's not a sign that you're failing. It's actually proof that your system is in transition. Your mind, body, and energy field are oscillating between two different realities. The old one you've been living in, and the new one you're stepping into. In quantum terms, you are in a superposition, existing in multiple states at once until you collapse into the one you choose. Your nervous system is recalibrating to hold a greater level of alignment, abundance, and clarity. That's why you may feel both exhilaration and fear. It's your body adjusting to an altitude you've never flown at before. The key to navigating this phase is neutrality. Instead of labeling excitement as good and fear as bad, see them both as energy currents moving through your field. They're just data signals telling you where your focus is at any given moment. If you can observe these emotional waves without getting pulled under by them, you begin to stabilize your frequency. You become the calm center of your own transformation. And when that stability clicks into place, the leap becomes inevitable. So, when emotions run high, don't panic. You're not falling apart, you're gathering the energy to break through. 5. Old triggers resurface right before your quantum leap. Life has a curious way of bringing back the very situations you thought you had left behind. Maybe it's an argument that echoes an old relationship pattern. Maybe it's a financial challenge that reminds you of a time when money was scarce. Or maybe it's a wave of self-doubt that feels eerily familiar at first. This can feel discouraging, like you're going backward, but in reality, it's the opposite. These triggers are resurfacing so you can meet them as your current self, not the old version of you who once struggled with them. This is your subconscious running its final diagnostic check, asking, are you truly ready to release this? Every time you respond differently, choosing patience over anger, trust over fear, abundance over scarcity, you send a powerful signal to the quantum field. You're proving that the old energetic blueprint no longer runs your life. Think of it like a video game before moving to the next level. You often face a familiar challenge one last time, not as punishment, but as confirmation that you've mastered it. The mistake most people make here is trying to fix the trigger or avoid it entirely. But the leap isn't about avoidance, it's about integration. When you can stand in the same storm that once knocked you over and remain grounded, you've locked into your new frequency. This stage may feel uncomfortable, but it's actually one of the most empowering. It's proof you're no longer defined by your past, you're choosing your future in real time. 6. Relationships begin to shift as your frequency changes. So do your relationships. Some connections may deepen, becoming more authentic and supportive. Others may fade without conflict, simply because the resonance that once held you together no longer exists. This can be bittersweet. You might miss the familiarity of old friendships or the comfort of certain family dynamics, even if they weren't always healthy. But understand this: your energy is a magnet, and as it shifts, it will naturally attract people who match your new vibration and repel those who don't. This isn't about superiority, it's about alignment. Relationships are like mirrors, reflecting back your beliefs, patterns, and energetic state. When you grow, the mirror changes. Some people will rise to meet your new reflection. Others will choose to stay where they are, and that's okay. Resisting these changes only creates friction. The more you try to drag old relationships into your new reality, the more both sides will feel the mismatch. Instead, bless the connections that fade. They played a role in your growth, and releasing them with gratitude opens the door for new ones that nourish you on a deeper level. Pay attention to who enters your life during this stage. The people you meet now often become key allies in your next chapter, those who inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, and remind you of who you're becoming. This is the natural reorganization of your social universe. Trust it. 7. The pull toward simplicity. In the weeks or months before a leap, you might feel an almost irresistible urge to simplify your life. You clean out closets, reorganize your workspace, cancel subscriptions, or step back from draining commitments. At first, you might think you're just tidying up, but energetically you're making space. The new timeline you're stepping into needs room to anchor itself. And clutter, physical, emotional, or mental, can slow that process. Think about how a garden grows best in cleared, fertile soil. If you try to plant seeds in an overcrowded bed full of weeds, the new growth will struggle. The same is true for your life. This simplification isn't about having less for the sake of minimalism. It's about creating the conditions for alignment. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you free up attention, time, and emotional energy for what's coming next. You may also notice yourself craving more quiet time, fewer social distractions, and more space to think and reflect. That's because your inner world is recalibrating, and the noise of the old timeline feels increasingly out of place. The pull towards simplicity is a sign you're making space for expansion. 8. Heightened intuition. When a leap is near, your intuition starts to sharpen. You might have sudden gut feelings that prove correct, or you notice meaningful coincidences happening more often. You think of someone, and they call. You're wrestling with a question, and the answer appears in a book, a podcast, or a passing conversation. These aren't random accidents. They're signs that your energy field is syncing with your desired reality. You're becoming more sensitive to the subtle information the quantum field is constantly offering. The challenge here is trust. The mind likes logic and proof, while intuition speaks in nudges and whispers. If you dismiss these signals as just imagination, you close the channel. But when you follow them, even if they don't make immediate sense, you'll often find they lead to exactly where you need to be. This is also the stage where you might notice synchronicities stacking up, as if the universe is leaving breadcrumbs for you. The more you follow them, the stronger and more frequent they become. Treat your intuition like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And in a quantum leap, it's one of your most valuable tools. 9. The disappearance of urgency. One of the most surprising signs you're close to a leap is the fading of urgency. In the old timeline, you may have felt constant pressure to push harder, move faster, and make things happen. Now, that compulsion begins to dissolve. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your actions are guided by alignment, not anxiety. You start making moves because they feel right, not because you're afraid of missing out. In this space, you trust that opportunities will arrive at the perfect time. You stop chasing and start attracting. Paradoxically, this relaxed energy often brings results faster than your old hustle ever did. Urgency is rooted in lack. Ease is rooted in abundance. When you no longer feel desperate to make the leap happen, it's usually because you've already matched the frequency of your desired reality. From that place, the leap is inevitable. 10. A quiet knowing. The final sign before your leap isn't fireworks. It's a calm, steady knowing. You simply know you're not the same person you were, and you can't go back. Even if the external changes haven't fully arrived yet, something inside you has shifted permanently. This quiet certainty often feels so natural that you might underestimate its significance. But it's the clearest indicator that you've already crossed into your new frequency. From here, the outer reality will begin catching up to the inner one. Your job now is to live as if the leap has already happened. Make choices, have conversations, and take actions from the identity of your future self. When you do this consistently, the quantum field aligns to mirror your state of being at this point. You're not waiting for the leap, you're embodying it. And that embodiment is what makes it real. Final word. If you've recognized yourself in these 10 signs, you're not here by accident. You are in the in-between, a sacred space where the old you is dissolving, and the new you is already alive in the quantum field. This phase can feel uncertain, even uncomfortable, because the human mind craves proof and clear timelines. But transformation at this level doesn't follow a clock. It follows alignment. Every quiet moment, every emotional wave, every relationship shift is not a random disruption, it's precise preparation. The old structures are loosening so you can step into a reality that's lighter, clearer, and more expansive than anything you've lived before. Your only task now is to trust the process. Let go of the urge to force or rush. Instead, keep tuning into the frequency of the life you want, moment by moment, choice by choice. The leap is not a single dramatic event, it's the natural result of you becoming coherent with your vision. And when it happens, it may not feel like an explosion. It may arrive quietly, like the first light of dawn, so natural that you barely notice at first. But one day soon, you'll look around and realize you've arrived. The life you once dreamed about is now simply your life. So breathe, stay present, and remember, your quantum leap isn't just close, it's already in motion. The universe is rearranging itself in your favor, and your alignment is the final key. You're not waiting for it to begin. You're living it right now. Remember, the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real. Keep showing up as you,